All right, Shalom. First thing and foremost, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Barakathum, to you hopefully elect out there. You know, just through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, I'm just going to do a quick show. Pretty much going into, because, you know, our people, man, matter of fact, can you give me that where it talks about how the Lord put the spirit of deep sleep on Jake? Because pretty much the tall tale signs are there, you know, and here it is, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, he's extending his grace, he's extending his hands to his people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, you know, and you Jakes out there, you Israelites, which Jake is just short for Jacob, which Jacob, the progenitor of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, which again consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. Because you know, pretty much when it comes down to it, you know, the Lord, he has a message for all nations, but pertaining to salvation, that message is only for the Israelites. All right, and even with that being said, salvation isn't for all Israel. You know, all Israel is not going to be saved, because again, clearly the Lord, he's trying to, you know, let his people know that, hey, it's about that time, you know. But again, Jake, they turn their hand away, you know. But when that time comes, no one's going to be able to say, I didn't know. No one's going to have the excuse, I didn't know. All right, because the watchmen are out there. All right, and that's why I'm going to start off with this here in Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. All right, because when it comes down to it, this message, it's not our message. All right, we're not telling you what we think or how we feel. All right, we're speaking the words, thus saith the Lord, thus saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, and again, you know, the tall tale sounds there. The Lord, he's speaking, and clearly these words are coming to pass. You know, but you, Jake, like I said, you what's that scripture that talks about how damn, I can't even word it right now, but you can go ahead and get that in.
This Isaiah 29:10. For the Lord hath poured upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes, the prophet and your rulers, the seers have he covered.
Yeah, because ultimately, you know, I did a video earlier today about understanding the will of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, because again, you got Israelites out here, they're talking about, we got to save all Israel, we got to teach all Israel. And again, knowing and understanding the will of the Lord, he don't want all Israel to make it. You know, he don't want all Israel to be saved, and that's just how the Lord set it up in this program of his. Can you give me that where it talks about, I think that's in Romans, where it talks about how where it talks about all Israel being saved or all Israel not being saved? You can get that for me, please? Because again,
You want to say all Israel should be saved?
Yeah, give me that. Yeah, let me see what that's.
Or you talking about the one that when it say not all Israel? Which one you want?
Not all Israel.
Okay.
Let me get this.
So let me read this real quick. This is Romans chapter 9 and verse this is Romans 9:6. Read this verse. It say, not as though the word of power have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. Because all of Israel ain't gonna make it. Only 1/3. So this is Romans 11 in verse verse 7. It reads, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. That's what you wanted?
Yeah, but okay. Actually both of those was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nevertheless, again, ultimately, the Lord doesn't want all Israel to be saved on this side, you know, because as crystal clear as it is to us, the hopefully elect, again, the Lord put a deep sleep on the rest of the nation of Israel, because he don't want them to get it. And that's why I'm going to get the prophecy here in Zechariah chapter 13, verse verse 8. It says, "And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die." All right, and again, that's 2 out of every three Israelites that you see and don't see, because our people are mixed amongst the nations. But nevertheless, 2 out of every 3 Israelites, they ain't gonna make it, and that's a hey, hell, one third. That's a great multitude that you read about in Revelation the 7th chapter. That great multitude, that's a lot of Israelites. So 2/3, hey, that's a hell of a lot. What is that? 66.6%. That's over 50% of the nation. They're not gonna make it, and this is just how the Lord set it up in His program. All right, but it says, "But the third shall be left therein." And again, only one. Again, out of the 2 out of every 3 Israelite, that one Israelite, he's gonna make it, or she's gonna make it. All right, and we're going through that that purification process. Because another thing, these fake and phony Christians talking about, well, they have this proud mindset. They think that you could live your whole lifetime just being wicked, right, and just being a willing sinner, and come time for salvation, you can just walk into the kingdom. It don't work like that. All right, we all have to be purged. We all have to be. The scriptures talk about what is that?
Being cleansed.
Yeah.
Purified. You said the right purge.
Being crucified spiritually. And then scriptures also talk about being born again. We have to come back as new babes, right? So we have to be purged, because for one thing, you think having this Western mindset in the kingdom is, again, that's not how it's going down. All right, and this is why we have to be washed through the word. We have to be baptized through this word. All right, because if you think for a second that you're gonna have to, you're gonna have our women talking about feminism in the kingdom, you're sadly mistaken. It's not happening like that. So this is a part of this whole purification process.
Let me read this. This is James 4:8. "Draw nigh to power, and He will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded."
Right. Zechariah. So I read 13. I read verse 8. I'm gonna read verse 9. It says, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined." Because, pretty much, and this is actually something I've been wanting to getting to do a lesson on. Those will I get around to do it. But basically, being children of the how does it go, man? I think that's in Ezra. It talks about the children of the captivity, something like that. But basically, we've all been born in this captivity, and with that being said, we've been raised in this westernized mindset. And again, the way that we think before we came into the truth is we're
westernized.
Yeah, the very flesh skin that we're in. When Lord's will we get beat up in the chariots, we're not. This flesh ain't even making it. So this whole way that we've been taught, this whole way of thinking, like I said, you're thinking that you're gonna bring feminism into the kingdom, where I can do battle by myself. I'm gonna have one apartment bedroom. No, man, all that. And again, this is why we have to be purged, right? And again, this is why it said, verse 9 again, it says, "And I will bring the third part through the fire, and we will find them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power." All right, so again, this is a part of this purification process. Again, understanding what the will of the Lord is, because it's not about us. It's not about us, how we feel, what we think. All right, again, it's about understanding what the will of the Lord is. And we're coming to this truth thinking that God loves everyone, and just singing kumbaya. No, man, we understand that the Lord, he pops is strict, man, and he has standards. He has real strict standards. Again, these fake and phony Christians talking about come as ye are, which there's no scripture in the Bible that tells you that to come as ye are. All right, again, Yahweh Shema Shai is standards. He has requirements. Can you give me that where it talks about St. John chapter 7? You know what I'm talking about? I think that's
38.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Because a common saying amongst Jake, because some of us had, strict parents or whatnot. A common saying in our households was, it's either my way or the highway. And you see, and that's how it is with Yahweh Shema Shai. It's his way or the highway. And in this case, you choose the highway, well, that's going to be fire. All right? Because one thing, our people fail to realize, our people fail to understand is, one way or the other, you're going to feel this fire. You're going to get touched by this fire. One way or the other, you're going to get cleansed. One way or the other, you're going to get purged. And you can either get it the easy way or the hard way. Because, hey, now is the time now to get on this bandwagon. All right? Because, hey, Amos 8:11, man, it's coming. And as I said in the beginning, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's not going to be extending his grace forever. He's not going to be extending his mercy. He's not going to be trying to plead with his people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, forever. Eventually the Lord's going to say that's it. And the Lord, he ain't going to be doing no talking after that. Once the spiritual ark is sealed, the Lord ain't going to be doing no talking. The Lord's going to be, like Jake like to say, man, I'm about that action. Hey, Lord, he could show you better than he could tell you. He's about to show you Israelites. He's about to show the whole world. Because that's another thing. These people seem to have forgotten who Yahweh Shema Shai is. This world is about to find out why they used to refer to the Heavenly Father as the Allah Shadja. Because with America's destruction, that's going to because back in ancient Egypt, when the Lord delivered our forefathers out of ancient Egypt, that established the fear of Yahweh Shema Shai, and above all the false gods, our deliverance in ancient Egypt, that let the world know that, hey, Yahweh Shema Shai and them Israelites, don't mess with them, all right? Because their God, that's the real, hey, he's with it. You see, but through time, as the earth waxed wicked, and things, time got more and more wicked, people seem that fear, it died down. Well, like I was saying, with America's destruction, that's going to establish the fear of Yahweh Shema Shai. And Yahweh Shema Shai is going to make such an example out of America that this time, this deliverance out of modern Egypt, the fear of Yahweh Shema Shai is never going to die down. All right, that fear is going to be established forever throughout all generations. All right, and 2/3 of you Israelites, hey, you're going to be you're going to be a part of that example that the Lord's going to set. All right, because like I said, the Lord, he has a message for all nations, but pertaining to salvation, it's only for the Israelites, and the focus is you Israelites. All right, the other nations, they're just extras in the movie. The Lord doesn't look at these other nations, these heathens, as anything. As a matter of fact, they're less than nothing. The focus is your Israelites. All right, you see, man. And again, this constant cycle of being on the earth, the Lord, the Lord delivering us. We get right for a period of time, then we start going off, the Lord kills us off, we come back. This constant cycle, the Lord's not going to keep going back and forth with your Israelites. And we believe through the Spirit, man, this is the last time, this is the last go around, and this is why now more than ever, this is the time to get it, man. All right, because like I've been saying, the tall tale signs are there. We're living in these prophecies being played out. This is the last go around, and Lord's will, we're striving to be a part of that first fruits. Because Jake, man, they don't take the Lord serious. We talk to Jake about how there's no such thing as hell, right? There's no such thing as hell as far as you burning your spirit, burning forever, and all that doesn't exist. And oftentimes you'll tell Jake about that, and their mindset is, well, hell, since there's no hell, since my soul's not going to burn forever, I might as well, I'll come back, I'll get on the other side. That's not the attitude to have. That's not the mindset to have. We want to be a part of that first dominion, that first fruits. Because from there, that's where they talk about the global reset. right? Well, from there, that's where the real global reset will take place. All right. Where's that at? It talks about the it's either 1st or 2nd Peter about the refreshing from the fire, and pretty much how the let me see, 1st or 2nd Peter.
The refreshing from the fire.
Because from the after the nuclear destruction.
2 Peter 3.
I think so. Let me see.
When it said about dissolving.
Yeah.
2 Peter 3 and 10 start at down to like 12.
2 Peter 3. Because the point I just want to make was, from there, that's where because that's the purpose of those the fire from those nuclear missiles. That is because this whole earth needs to be cleansed. It's not just Israelites. It's not just Israel. The whole earth needs to be cleansed. And from the fire from that nuclear destruction, that's where the what they say, the New World Order, or that's where the real global reset is going to take place after, when the dust settles, pretty much. Because if you can give me that in Revelation 21, was that Revelation 20 or 21 that talks about New Jerusalem?
21.
So I'm gonna read this. 1 Peter or 2 Peter chapter 3.
Starting at 10, I think.
Yeah, it's verse 10. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night." And again, knowing when this time does come, when all hell just breaks loose, all of a sudden, again, no one's gonna have the excuse, "I didn't know," because we've been through the Spirit, starting with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. We've been trying to tell you people. We've been trying to tell you Israelites. So when that time comes, no one's going to have the excuse, "I didn't know." It says, "In which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up." And again, basically, because like I said, it's not just Israelites. It's not just Israel that needs to be purged and cleansed. The whole earth needs a global reset. And again, the fire from that nuclear destruction, that's what's going to cause, because like back in Genesis, when you read the 6th chapter, going into how the Lord, he saw all the wickedness that was going on, he got fed up with it. So what did he do? He flooded the earth with water, and that was the first death, because water is a cleansing agent. All right. And again, the whole earth is just indulged in wickedness. So being that the Lord promised that he won't flood the earth again with water, well, how's he going to cleanse the earth this time? With fire, which is a cleansing agent. So like I said, one way or the other, you're either going to get cleansed with this water, this truth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, or you're going to get purged with fire. One way or the other, you're going to get with the program. One way or the other. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. There's no. I put it like this: when it comes to negotiating with Yahweh Shema Shai, there is no negotiating. The only negotiating is, did you learn any lesson, or do you need to get your ass whooped more? That's the only negotiating. Because again, it's his way or the highway. And like I said, in this case, the highway is going to be that nuclear fire. And from there, that's where the real global reset is going to take place. If you can get that for me, please.
All right. You want to read that again, or you was through with that?
Yeah, I've been done with that.
All right. I'm finna get it in a blue letter so I can get this word.
Mm-hmm.
This is Revelations 21:1. It reads, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." Now we know the earth abideth forever.
Right.
They tell you in Ecclesiastes chapter 1. So the Lord ain't going to destroy the earth. It's just going to be cleaned off. It's got to be cleansed. So it say, verse 2, "And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven." And that's talking about the elect coming out of the chariots after that thermonuclear fire, "prepared as a bride adored for her husband." So when you go to this word, new, which is kainos.
Strong's G 2537. Kainos. Kainos.
Which means to be, it's a new. It got freshness, which means to be refreshed, refurbished, afresh. It's a made fresh. Yeah, unused, unworn, of a new kind, unprecedented, unheard of, new. So the earth got to be refreshed, man. You got it.
And like I said, man, the fact that the whole earth is in this decrepit state. What it took Esau roughly, what, 500 years he's been in power? Something like that.
Since Babylon the Great, maybe a couple, 300 years or so.
Something like that. Well, pretty much ever since he's been in rulership, because it talks about in what was that, First Maccabees, how when Esau pretty much, because them Greeks, they were Edomite. We're not talking about the actual Greeks, because I believe they were Japhetic, right? The actual Greeks.
Japhetic, yeah.
But talking about Esau, ever since he got up in power.
Yeah, since the mid 1400s, yeah.
Yeah.
So about 500 and some change.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Ever since he's been in power, man, the earth has just been in, like I was going to quote First Maccabees, it talks about them wickedness multiplied on the earth. And you see, he's been in power roughly 500 years, something like that. Well, it's going to take, after the elect come down from them ships, it's going to take 1,000 years to pretty much undo all the madness, all the wickedness that he's, spewed on the earth. All right. Matter of fact, get that real quick. In Revelation, was that 20? Revelation 20.
What?
It talks about that 1,000 years.
Yeah, Revelations 20 and verse 3. And then it jumped down to verse 7.
Yeah, Revelation 20. Verse 3 says, and cast him into the bottomless pit.
Read one so you can get the whole understanding.
Yeah, verse 1, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
And the Israelites is known as the angelic sons of Isaac. Okay, Anglo-Saxon. The angelic sons of Isaac. So that angel was Septimus Severus. It's Yahushua through the Spirit first and foremost, but he put the Spirit on Septimus Severus to take down the Roman Empire. So that's talking about Septimus Severus taking down the Romans. You got it.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season.
And that's when they fell. And that's when some call it the Byzantine Empire, or the time of the Moors, or the Middle Ages, or the Dark Ages. That was the time when so-called Negroes and Jamaicans and Haitians was ruling Portugal, Spain, Europe, Scotland, those places. You got it.
And because it said, and after that he must be loosed a little season. And ever since because he's in a little season now, and ever since he's been out, again, the earth is just been in a decayed state. It's been in this decrepit state.
Let me back that up with this. This is Job 30 and 1. It reads, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I will have disdain to have set with the dogs of my flock. It say verse 2, yeah, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished, for want and famine they were solitary, fleeing in the wilderness, in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up meadows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. Now I say, for want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time, desolate and waste, because they was chased into the they was chasing to the caves, man. Okay, you say over there in Europe, man, over there in Russia, Georgia, Russia, man, in the Caucasus Mountain. Okay, it say they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. So what the brother reading is when they was chasing to those caves over there. I'm reading it right here. What he reading in Revelations 20 is when Septimius Severus took down the Roman Empire, and so-called Negroes came up for 1,000 years, because he was shut up for 1,000 years. It say they were driven forth from among men. This is what the brother read in Revelations 20. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, and in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. Among the bushes they braided, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yet children of base men. They were violent in the earth. So you got it. Read it again.
Revelation 23. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season.
Right. You got it.
So jump to verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
So between roughly 193, 95 AD till the mid 1300s, maybe the latter of the 1300s, that's when they was locked away. And they came out the caves like the end of the 1300s, man. Because in 1492, that's when Cristobal Colon and Amerigo Vespucci sailed on this side of the world, man. Amerigo Vespucci came here. Chris Columbus landed in the islands, man. Okay? Which was funded by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, man. So that's when they came out the caves. Roughly in the late 1300s. You got it. Read that 7 again.
Verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
And Satan just means adversary, man. Okay? Shaitan, which is adversary, man. That's all it means. Our enemy, man. You got it. Read it one more time.
And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Want me to keep going?
Yeah.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
And that's why Russia stirred up right now, man. Say to gather Gog and Magog to battle, man. Okay? Because the scripture tell you in 2 Ezra 11:39 that the end of that time is going to come through them, the Job 9:24s. So it said he gonna come out the caves to deceive the world, man. With what? His philosophies. Okay? Iconoclasm. He whitewashed all the images of our people, man. When we ruled Scotland, Europe, Portugal, Spain, or even in over there in Russia, man. They got black statues over there, man. That this devil chipped the nose off him and whitewashed him, man. So he deceived the world with his philosophies, with his iconoclasm. Okay? Rebirth, the Renaissance. That's why I tell you in Psalms 58, they come out of the womb. They come out of the womb speaking lies, man. And that beginning they new rulership was when they came out the caves, man. But you got it.
It says, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city, and fire came down from the Most High out of heaven and devoured them.
You whatever you was gonna go back into, you got it.
Oh, because just the point I wanted to make was, ever since Esau, like I said, he's in his little season now, and ever since he's been in rulership, the whole earth, man, is just the whole. And again, that's what that fire, that nuclear fire, is going to do. It's gonna cleanse the earth, because this whole earth is in need of new management. Because the whole earth, you quoted Job 9:24. The earth giving it into the hand of the wicked. This whole earth is on a wicked vibration. So the whole earth needs to be cleansed. The management needs to be taken out. And that's what the fire from that from those nuclear missiles, that's what it's going to do. And 2/3 of you jakes, man, you don't want to repent, you don't want to get right. Well, you're gonna, matter of fact, I think it talks about that, the lake of fire.
That's 20:14, yeah. Verse 14.
Verse 14. Yeah. Revelation 20:14. It says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. this is the second death, because I mentioned it earlier. The first death being the flood. The Lord cleansed the earth with water, cleansing agent. Well, the second death, the Lord's going to cleanse the earth with fire. The second death, you know. And I don't know about you people, but listen, if you're in the right spirit, man, we don't want to partake in that, because was that is that Zechariah 14:2 or Zechariah 14:12?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know about that, read up on it, because it's a horrible death. It's nothing for Yahweh Shem Shai to leave your spirit in your body as you're feeling the heat from those nuclear missiles, man. It's nothing for the Lord to do that. Because a lot of you people, you think you're gonna get an easy death. No, man, you people aren't getting away that easy. You're not getting away that easy.
Let me read this.
Mm-hmm.
This is Isaiah 9 and verse 18. It reads. This reads 17. It say, "For the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on the fatherless and widows. For everyone is an hypocrite and an evildoer, and every mouth speaketh folly. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. For wickedness burneth as the fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns." Briars and thorns are talking about 2/3 of Jake that don't want to get right. And it's saying they shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke. Through the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shah of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother.
Okay. And that was it. Just got anything else?
Okay, nah, that was it. I just
right.
want.
Hey, hopefully the message has gotten across. Hopefully this was edifying. Closing out, giving all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shai, Brakathum. To you hopefully elect out there, may the blessing of election be upon you and your families. With that, Lord's will, until next time, shalom.
Shalom. Wah, 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 wah.